Alyssa, Sean, today we learned that Kelly Nichols will be serving 6 years in prison with conditional release after that. The sentencing part of this hearing took 4.5 hours today. We had a large group of demonstrators out in front of the courthouse for more than 2 hours today, braving the cold to make sure that people knew and heard what they thought was justice. It all started around 5:40 last night when officers with the Springfield Police Department got a call about someone firing a gun into a home while people were inside. Now, WND News has pushed for answers in this deadly shooting. We've asked what prompted the gunshots and was Massey armed. We have not heard back on any of those questions, but coming up the next 30 minutes, we'll hear from the organizers of today's protest who say they won't stop fighting for answers. For most thieves, stealing from a car is a numbers game. They go from car to car, door to door until they find one that's unlocked. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem spent her time in Springfield today talking about Illinois sanctuary laws. She says that they bring danger not only to Illinois families, but to families across the country. It's as simple as this. Someone comes to your front door, rings your doorbell, and promises you utility services they can't provide. Sean, Alyssa, still a very active scene here right now in Harristown at the corner of Main and Meridian, where what we believe is a Harristown Township building is burning. We're going to take you now to some of the video we took when we were closer to the scene and when there was a little more daylight outside to see just the scope of this fire. I mean, it's very massive. We could see the smoke coming from the building when we were still 5 miles out from this scene. A tense day in court as both Doug and Kelly Nichols were found guilty on 10 counts of possession of child pornography. Police found several videos and photos of the Nichols' naked daughters and other minors in their family. Soon, these aisles will be filled with some of the most shipped items from Amazon, which means if you order one of them and you're close enough to Springfield, you could get it that day. And even Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias says the process of getting one of these is too difficult. It's starting to get more and more busy. We've got a lot of folks coming through the door, a lot of excitement ahead of tonight. And I know we just heard from Amy about preparations as people are getting their hair and makeup done. She's here now. How are we feeling? How's the energy now that we're getting closer? Here in Sherman, signs like this have popped up everywhere. The neighbors are tired of the damage they say Comcast is doing to the village.
Well, it's disappointing and it looks terrible.
Pam Gray is one of many community members with a giant hole in her front yard. She says Comcast subcontractors dug it and haven't returned.
Families, small children, and if the kids run out in front of their mom and dad, they're going to look in that hole, so you got to keep an eye on them so they don't reach in or throw something in it.
And down the road, a father of 3 told us the crew cut into his plumbing, causing raw sewage to flood his home.
And before we could do anything about it, it had gone under the floors, saturated the ceiling of my basement, and flooded the carpet downstairs. It went down the drywall.
Because of stories like this, Sherman Mayor Trevor Clatfelter pulled any Comcast permits and issued a stop work order.
They are disregarding every rule and regulation that I've seen actually in place. They have cut cable lines, they have damaged sewer lines, they have backed up raw sewage into people's houses, they are not fixing sidewalks.
The mayor says the Comcast subcontractors have caused thousands of dollars in damage and put the community at risk.
A disregard and a total lack of respect for the Village of Sherman, the Village of Sherman's infrastructure, the citizens of the Village of Sherman.
Clatfelter says Comcast will not be allowed to work in Sherman until they repair the damage. In Sherman, Carlee Bronkema, WAND News. A trip down memory lane.
I walked down this ramp by myself with my dad, helping my dad up and down it. And so, this brings back a lot of memories.
When James Keith's dad died last year, he wanted to make sure his old wheelchair ramp didn't go to waste.
I called the VA and they said the ramp is yours to do what you want to with it.
At the same time, Nellie Ann Cotty was preparing for back surgery and thought her days of leaving the house were over.
I have multiple sclerosis and severe back issues. So for me, I was in desperate need for one.
After years of calling different organizations and people, she finally got a hold of the right person.
I reached out to the United Way just on the off chance that they might actually do something. And that's when I talked to James, and James's father had passed and had a ramp to donate.
Soon the ramp had a new home, and Nellie Ann had more freedom.
Now I can get in and out of the house easily. You know, I can actually hold on to the sides if I need to, or if I'm weeble wobbly, I can, you know, have something to bounce off of.
Because of their story, the United Way of Decatur launched a new program, helping people with ramps to spare connect with others who need them.
Repurpose this ramp that was at my dad's house, bring it here, put it in so another person had the ability to access their home, to go into and leave their home, which, you know, it was a powerful moment.
And Nellie Ann got more than a ramp. She made a new friend.
Well, and I know that anytime I need to call James, you know, about anything, he'll be there.
In Decatur, Carlee Bronkema, WAND News. 1 year ago, Kelly Carter had a problem. Her daughter was going to age out of school soon and needed something to do next.
80% of the disabled community can't find jobs, whether that be because places aren't handicap accessible or employers just aren't comfortable hiring them.
When we talked to Kelly in January, she said she wanted to open a bakery within 5 years, but her goal only took 8 months.
My life right now doesn't feel real.
Now Kelly is serving more kids than just her own. Students from several schools come to the bakery to learn the basics.
1 egg, and then we gotta scramble it and paint it. It's something that a lot of these schools are needing. They're needing businesses that are willing to help and have the time to train these individuals because they have these skills. They just need the time and they need maybe some little adjustments, but they're willing and they're able to work.
Those adjustments include adaptive tools and one-on-one help.
He's going all the way through class.
Kelly teaches them how to bake in exchange for something you can't put a price tag on. Joy.
They have a purpose. They feel fulfilled. You can see the smiles on their face. You can hear the laughter when you come in, and like just seeing them run through our doors. It looks so hard. What do you think about those?
The community has shown so much support for Heart and Flower that they're already expanding just 4 months after they opened.
Having my regulars and people seeing me out in the community and yelling, "Hey, Heart and Flower girl!" Like it doesn't feel real. Like this whole last year has just been a whirlwind.
Continuing the mission to make sure everyone knows
You are the fastest box maker ever.
they matter.
I'm good now. I think I just needed to move them over this way a little bit more.
In Lincoln, Carlee Bronkema, WAND News.